Um, Welcome to the Voices Over Vibes podcast. This is Alan, and with us we have our guest today, Nicholas Kisitu.
Hello, welcome to the podcast. I'm great. I'm glad to be here. I'm really grateful
Okay,
and thankful to be here.
we're going to be sharing the mics, so yeah.
Jude in the building, and so probably you're wondering who we have here. Um, you've probably seen him somewhere, yeah, somewhere. I mean, you might have seen him on your TV stations to the NBS After Five Fanatics. Maybe you've seen him, yeah. Maybe on New Vision, like on a page, yeah. Safe to say, call him Nikoallcaps, yeah. Yeah, so Mandem,
Yeah, bro.
Wagwan.
Not much.
Yeah.
that was one of the best introductions I've had in a long
So
time, bro. Thank you.
so um,
So, bro,
Yeah.
we are very glad to have you on the show, and we are ready to get deeper into the topics and get to know you more on a different basis.
Yeah.
I was with him actually at the studio, and we were, talking about different things that would help us push this show. And he actually gave me a good couple of good ideas that I currently took at heart, and probably we shall enroll on that and quite use that to improve on ourselves better.
Wow, bro. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you took that up.
Yeah, so as you came in earlier, we talked about the Yolo theory that you only live once. It's mostly used that endeavor into using that as a way of escaping the reality, yeah?
Yeah. Of course.
And we would also love to hear more about what you think, and
Yeah.
we could add on that later on as we continue with the show.
YOLO, bro. You only live once. I love that topic. That's a great topic. Thank you for giving me that topic. I feel like sometimes you go to a podcast and the topics are tough, but that's a vibey one. YOLO for me means like a lot of different things, bro. Like you have the power and the authority in your own life to make a lot of really cool improvements to your life on a daily basis. You wake up every day and you can choose what mood are you going to be in today, you know? Sometimes, like, maybe if you're in a really bad place, you feel like you don't have that, like, capacity to do so. But then, at the same time, there's so many resources that you have available. Like, you can go on YouTube, you watch, like, a couple motivational videos, you can reach out and talk to some of your friends. And then I think that from there, that's where the vibe kind of starts. So YOLO for me, at least like off the top, YOLO isn't just about like a one person energy. Like YOLO is very much like a lifestyle, and it's very much like being with the people who give you that feeling of really pure excitement, fun, and joy. Yeah.
according to what you said, yeah, YOLO, it's a term or a narrative used by the Gen Zs, I would say, that they have actually used it a lot to run away from reality.
Yeah.
And before you know it, since it's a you only live once narrative, they act in a way that they are over like moving mad, I would say.
Yeah, I
Like
hear you. Yeah.
partying that life, and they're forgetting to save, saying that you only live once. You might save, you might not live to use your savings that way. What's your take? Like, what's your take on the Gen Zs using that as a way of wasting themselves, I would say?
I hear you. I think my take on that is hopefully a decent one. It works for me. I would rather make the money first. You get, like, if I'm gonna blow it all and do the whole YOLO thing, it's like I'd rather at least have the systems in place, the frameworks in place to be able to do that and maintain that as a lifestyle. It's also about maintenance, because again, you only live once, and you'd rather have a lifestyle that is continually getting better, or that is continually sustainable. And that's it's not something that I would really condone, to go completely YOLO lifestyle and then forget that realistically, man, like, things change. Especially like when you're a young person, you might end up having like like right now, maybe you have like parents who can support you, you have family who can support you, but you get to a place where maybe you want to buy a car or you want to have your own apartment, and you just can't even do YOLO, or you don't even want to anymore. Last night, like someone asked me, they're like, actually, last night I suggested to someone, I was like, let's go out to the club. And then like within 5 minutes, she was like, yeah, let's do that. And then she's like, yeah, let me call my friends. We called her friend, and then we're like, do we even want to go? Not really. Like the hassle of going out and then coming back home, and it's like, bro, like you'd rather just crash. So I think YOLO at an age, there's like an age for it. Like I feel like if you're between like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23, 24, maybe 25, YOLO is kind of chill. But again, like just be careful, and also still consider what moves you're making and how they might impact you. I'll give you a great example of YOLO.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who started doing OF. I don't know if you know what I mean when I say OF. It's a website on the internet, OF. You don't know that website? Okay, well, OF was this website that basically was like a subscription site where you could post your content and then people could like go on there and purchase your content.
Okay.
Yeah, so some people that I knew started doing OF.
OnlyFans, yeah?
OnlyFans. So they started doing OnlyFans. And they were like, yo, I'm going to make so much money, whatever. So they did OF, and they posted up a bunch of content. They did a bunch of things that they probably wouldn't do again. And then now they look back and they're like, oh my goodness, like everybody has seen me, you know? And even if someone hasn't seen them, they still kind of feel like self-conscious when they walk through the street. Like you can kind of see that like they don't really have the same comfort that they did before, and that was a YOLO decision, you know. It was just like a why not. So some of these things, like again, it's like a risk. Sometimes you take like a move and you think it's going to be financially useful or beneficial, and then it's just like massive L, and you feel a way about it. So you have to keep that in mind. Same thing like YOLO when it comes to the guys, man. Like you might YOLO one time and end up now you're a father, you know. So you just have to kind of balance and really consider your options. Like I don't use YOLO interchangeably with like F it. Like you know when I say F it, what I mean, right? Like there's sometimes where you're just chilling there and you're like, F it, like let me just do this thing. I do not use YOLO in the same way that I use F it. It's totally different. Because YOLO can be like, oh, do you want to go to this event? No, but you know what? Yeah, fine, I'll go YOLO. F it could be like, I have this option, I have this option, I have this option. I don't want to do any of them. None of them are good. None of them are going to like make me happy. F it, like just pick one, you know, regardless.
That's really your perspective on YOLO. That's actually when you talk about sustainability. Most people when they go YOLO, they tend to forget that there's maintenance and sustainability. So, to me, you don't only live once. That's the fact. Because if you say you only live once and then you do whatever you want to do at that particular time, at that particular age, of course you still have more time. Some, things happen, of course, because life, it's probation, it's probability. You might live today, you might die tomorrow, but what's the essence of living, That's the question that I would feel like everyone should ask themselves, What's your purpose? You're going to live once, right? But what's your purpose in that particular scope that you've lived in? What have you achieved? What have you done? What have you said to someone? Where have you gone? How far have you gone on the goals you've set? So this all comes to a question of purpose and what you really want to do with your life. Because I feel like people who go YOLO are not that much of serious people in society. Most could be menace to society. I don't want to be rude, but you cannot just say you're gonna only live once, so you're gonna do whatever the fuck you want, right?
Whatever, yeah, I hear you. But then again, that's maybe their purpose, some of them, and that's kind of worrying sometimes.
It's very worrying. If your purpose is to do whatever the fuck you want in society with no remorse, such people are never remorseful, I'm sorry to say, because they tend to do anything. Like, let's go to the club, yes. Let's do this, yes. You know,
And worse, like that stuff is kind of tame. Like YOLO, like in that sense, it's not that bad, right? But then there's people who do really bad stuff.
yeah.
It's like, bro, like,
Because I feel like when you bring that up, it gives me it gets me thinking. If you only live once, at least only live once doing something good. Do something that makes you feel happy, not something that's gonna make you feel happy but gonna harm you later.
yeah.
So I feel like some people should have a different perspective on YOLO.
Yeah.
I'm not saying stop,
Yeah.
because we have to have fun at some point.
Yeah.
You need to get the vibe,
Yeah,
because
of course.
even life, a purposeful life with no vibe, no happiness, it's literally not a life at all.
Yeah, it
So
sucks.
when you go YOLO, please just think of the effects, the cause, and why you're going YOLO. Is it because you're bored? Is it because your friends are crazy? I don't know. You would do it for different reasons, but just think of the effect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's why I would say, in my own perspective.
Yeah.
So about that YOLO thing and effort, so you've said that you use both. Okay, those things you use them differently, right?
Yeah, I use
But
them
there are
differently.
people who have misused them in a way that
Yeah, it's the same
yeah,
thing.
it's combined. So before you know it, instead of him saving, I wouldn't say they're rich that way, but they might have that money. Maybe it could have helped him do something like in the future, or maybe the next day, but he uses it in a way that F it and YOLO, you only live once, and yeah, let me go to the club, let me buy this whole makeup bottle, it's more expensive, what, I'm flexing this, I'm flexing that, and they feel like they are living life, but I mean, you can live life without doing
Yeah.
all that, because my pops once told me that you can do these things like any day, anytime, meaning I can party at my old age, or you get,
Yeah, true.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's
And-
factual, bro.
yeah. So what's your take on this narrative of like people partying right now at the age 20s? What
Yeah.
they claim to tell us that
Yeah.
we might not have that fun when we grow old, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the way I've seen it is the world picks the best.
Yeah.
It really does. And every minute that you're not doing something worthwhile, every minute you're not doing something that's like going to build you or what you want to do is another minute that you're taking a loss. And it's a very like perceivable loss. But not just that, only like I can give you my own example. Like when I was a kid, I used to work in the UK. I was working, but I was working in a retail store, so I wasn't earning a lot of money. But comparatively to here, for someone working
A lot of
retail,
money.
I was earning like a decent amount of
Yeah.
money. So I'd take like half of what I was earning, exactly half, and I'd spend it on ads on YouTube, on Instagram, ads on Facebook, and that didn't make me any money back for like 7 years. I was just spending money every single month on that thing, and it was earning nothing. And then when it started to make me money back, I was able to make like 25 to 50K in a year off of just like deals that I was getting because now I had some notoriety, I had some popularity, I had grown my capacity. So yeah, at that point it was like, well, now the guys who I was at one point thinking, oh, like maybe I could go to the club with them, maybe I should just stop like trying this thing, I'm wasting my time, nothing's coming back from it. It's like, well, now, bro, like I can travel to whatever country I want, I can, live where I want, I can eat what I want, I could be with whatever girl I want to be with now. At the time when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, like even when I was 16, 17, and I was looking at other people literally living this lifestyle, buying the Nikes I want to buy, buying the sweaters I want to buy, I just felt like, oh, this sucks, right? But at the same time in my heart, I was like, this is not going to suck forever. I'm going to try this thing. If it works, it works. If it fails, it fails, but it has to work.
it has to
So sometimes you need that hunger in your life, like you need to want it. And I think some people just kind of don't have that. And that kind of, it does change over time. Now, for me, I wanted it to change at a point where I had options, right? Because now, if I had been 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, do all those years not doing anything to build myself outside of employment for someone else, I would have gotten to the point where now I'm like 25, 26, work is getting harder to it's getting harder to get jobs every day. It's getting harder to stand out from the crowd every day. And I wouldn't have networks because I wouldn't have been taking risks, right? So then I get to a place where I'm like, damn, like I'm the same as everyone else, in the same way that like I would be struggling to get work, and in the same way that like I would have no options. But now, because I have my music thing I can fall back on, I have companies that I've started I can fall back on, I've been to different countries and I can build things there too. It's like I have a bit more of an opportunity. So YOLO for me was like YOLO, but in terms of sacrifice. I was like, yes, I'm gonna sacrifice all of this fun I could be having when I'm in my like early 20s, but realistically, I'm gonna turn that into a bag that will sustain me for life. And so yeah, that's the way I used YOLO.
Okay.
Because it's true, bro. You know, you can become like 80, 70, like you can grow and grow old. Some people maybe don't make it to an old age, but you can get old and then what?
And you're broke.
And you're broke and you're old, and that's really a struggle.
You are claiming YOLO, you only live once, but
yeah, but now you're living, but this living is long. Like you're just like, damn. You know, like you know those long summers where you're like just maybe like at your grandparents' house and you're just chilling in the village, and it's long, bro. Like there's no Wi-Fi, you're just there.
Yeah.
It can be a long life. So
it's not guaranteed that you're going to die tomorrow or you're going to live tomorrow. So you just have to move like in that right path.
Yeah, find
like
that
slow
good
but
balance.
sure, I would say.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So speaking of Nikoallcaps,
Yeah.
you're probably going to tell us like who is Nikoallcaps? Like,
Okay.
where does he originate from?
Okay.
Yeah. Something like that.
So my parents are Ugandan. I was born in the States. I was born in New York, Albany. Lived there for just a couple of years. Then we moved to Uganda for a couple of years. Then I moved to the UK. So I grew up in the UK most of my life. I grew up in Scotland, in Edinburgh, and it's a beautiful place. But I was often at home a lot. When I grew up, and I was like maybe like from the ages of 5 to like 10, I used to get heavily bullied all the time because of my skin color. And at the time, I was like one of the only black kids in like a 20-mile radius. Like there really was no other black children. So I went to a school. I didn't get bullied at school. School was great. I had lots of friends at school, but like at the home where I used to stay, I used to get bullied by some guys, and like they were much older. Like some of them were like 19. Some of them were like 10, and at the time I was like 5, 6, 7, 8. So it was like a struggle. But then I kind of came out of that. I moved back to Uganda for a couple of years. I studied at Heritage International School, legendary school. If you haven't been there, you need to go check that place out. But I love that school. It's so good. I made a lot of good friends there. And then I moved back to the UK for university, to finish high school and finish university. But when I moved from Uganda to go back to the UK, those like 2 or 3 years that I spent here really impacted me. Like they changed my life in the sense that like I wasn't moving the same way. I went back there and like, you know how here some people might know what I'm talking about. Like when you're washing dishes, you don't like turn on the water full blast and just be there like taking hours and doing your thing because you have to pay like a water bill here, right? But over in the UK where I was living in Scotland, the water was free. So you can just turn on the water and leave it on all day and you won't have to ever think about how much that it costs you nothing. So here, when I moved back to the UK, I realized that like, damn, like there's some behaviors that I've built over the past 2 years that have been like deep survival methods, but also like just like coping methods. Like this is how we live here, and I had adjusted completely. So when I moved back to the UK, trying to be friends with people who I was friends with in primary school and like at the start of high school was really challenging for me because I was like, bro, like I'm seeing the pace at which they're doing the thing they're doing. I'm seeing the pace at which the people in Uganda are doing the things they're doing. I'm seeing the pace at which there's like a huge disparity and a difference between like both cultures. And I'm seeing where I want to see myself and where I want to see people from Uganda who I felt like I really connected quite well with. And I'm like, bro, like I just can't move the same as these guys. Like they have different goals, I have different goals, but for me, like I'd rather put myself in a place where I can actually make some serious change. Some of the things that I was seeing here, like sometimes you see like really bad poverty, sometimes you see people who are like homeless on the streets here, like more people sometimes, and sometimes you see like people who are homeless on the street and they have like mental like illnesses and stuff. So that's not something that I saw growing up much in the UK, and I just thought like if I keep moving with these guys who I was hanging out with in the UK, I would just end up kind of being a party animal. I would just end up doing things that maybe weren't quite in alignment with myself and also like my culture, like my parents' culture. So I just thought like, let me focus on building myself. And that's where the music thing came in. So at like 14, 15, 16, I started making music. And in making music, I started teaching people. When I was 19, I started a company with a few of my aunties and uncles in the UK, and that went really well. From there, we got moved to Ghana. Like, I went to Ghana for like 8 weeks to do a training camp over there for young people to teach them how to make music. Did a lot of TV, a lot of press and like journalism stuff, and then now I do counseling. So I'm a school counselor, and I support people to kind of get through some of their problems on TikTok and on Instagram. Maybe I'll start doing that soon. But realistically, I make a lot of content and I support artists is mostly what I do.
Yeah, I've seen your reach out in was it Kasanga, where you
Oh,
you
yeah.
help the guys who have potential in
Yeah.
creating music,
Yeah.
and you try to help them get a studio and probably
Yeah.
do their thing
Yeah.
as reach their max
Yeah.
potential.
Yeah, there's a place in Kansanga that you can go and check out. I actually met those guys in quite an interesting way, but I met them and they had a really small like studio. It was kind of beaten up, but you could tell that they loved what they were doing, you know?
Yeah.